lent a hand to my almost homeless friend years ago. Now I can't get him to move out.
Kick him out of there!
No, then he'll be homeless again.
Yeah, wait, you can't do that.
That's rude.
I allowed a veteran friend of mine and my husband, whom I have known for 20 years, to move in with us. My husband, also being a vet, agreed to let him stay when our friend who he lived with sold his home and he had nowhere to go. By the way, this comes from user MoreUnderstanding24, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit and submit them there. So, when we talked about him coming, I let him know I'd give him 2 or 3 months to get settled and find a job, and then he would need to pay $500 a month for rent. That covered his room, his own restroom, the use of our Wi-Fi, cable TV, all of the streaming platforms, the washer, the dryer, and the other household things, including the fridge. That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah. I mean, when you're not paying for you just have to find a job in that. That's pretty good.
When he moved in, he was super happy and grateful, saying he was going to find work quickly. He was doing well at first, going for walks and actively trying to lose weight. This friend of ours is at least 450 to 550 pounds. In his mid-50s, we are 40, diabetic, and had not gone to the doctor in years. My husband took him to the VA and got him set up. He was walking with my 14-year-old and losing weight until he wasn't anymore. Since he wasn't paying rent, we told him he could help out around the house and cook breakfast for the kids with the food I bought. We fed him dinner every night, and if we got food from a restaurant or fast food, I fed him too. So you're just getting like another kid to take care of, essentially. I offered him a little brewski after he mentioned that he hadn't had one in a really long time and missed it. I said, we don't really drink much, so help yourself. My husband pointed out some things that were off limits. A week or two later, my daughter woke up and told me she heard a bang. I went downstairs and found that he had fallen. We got him up and into bed, but it happened 3 more times over the next few weeks. He was also up at odd hours and super noisy. At that time, I was working 2 full-time jobs, and my husband and kids were in full-time college and school. I put it on the back burner, assuming it was just diabetic issues, and told him to make an appointment with his doctor. Maybe 2 months went by, and I had a particularly hard day. I went to grab a drink and noticed my entire liquor cabinet, probably $300 to $600 worth of alcohol, was gone. He drank everything. Yeah, so clearly this was a guy who had problems.
Well, I mean, he's a veteran. That often comes with it of like, you've gone through something really hard.
Yeah.
And the government doesn't support you. And now you're having to pick up the slack of something that you shouldn't have. You probably don't have the funds for or the resources to handle. Someone has it might have mental, health problems.
At the very least, a very massive self-control problem here.
Yeah.
He drank everything, including my Zima, which you can't buy anymore, and the bottle of champagne we were saving for my husband's graduation. I confronted him and he cried, saying he was embarrassed and sorry. I asked what gave him the idea that help yourself meant drinking everything. He had no answer, just blamed his back issues and emotional trauma. I put my foot down and told him that was it. It had been 7 months and he still hadn't found a job. We were struggling financially and he needed to start paying rent. He agreed. 3 months went by, which means we're now at month 10 and nothing. That's a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah.
That's a whole lot of nothing.
You don't have the resources to help this man.
He just sat in his room, used his food stamps to buy candy and junk food from Amazon and the store, gained 100 pounds, and let his diabetes get so bad that his skin was bursting open. That's pretty graphic.
Especially for your kid, too, to be there.
This guy needs a hospital.
Yeah, because the sores that you can get from diabetes is pretty gruesome.
His legs were so swollen, his wounds wouldn't heal for months, and he refused to get up. He did nothing but sit at his computer all day, every day. The rest of us left for work or school, and I reminded him again that he needed a job. If you cooked or came out to have a meal and watch television, he would come out and talk your ear off about whatever he was obsessed with at the time or share outdated opinions. It was so bad that I started avoiding going downstairs at all. Then my husband's health took a turn. He collapsed one day and we found out he had stage 4 kidney and lung cancer. As I was still working 2 jobs and the kids were in school, I asked our roommate to use our snowblower to clear the sidewalks and driveway. He went out for 3 minutes, then came back in saying his back hurt and he couldn't do it. My husband, despite his illness, ended up doing it himself. Yeah, this is when it's like you're out within like the next 2 weeks, or I call the police.
Yeah.
Here's the shelter, go to the hospital, here's the VA.
Exactly. You give them, you lead them to, resources that can help them, but you can't.
Every Every day, my husband shoveled the snow with only me or our 14-year-old helping him. I was furious. I told our roommate it was BS that he couldn't even help with that while living here rent-free. My husband had part of his kidney removed, he now only has one, and was told not to lift over 10 pounds for 6 weeks. The roommate still didn't help with anything. Then my mother-in-law said she was coming to stay with us for a few months after my husband's surgery. We gave the roommate 3 months notice to move out. He had a breakdown crying to my husband that it wasn't enough notice and that only he was getting the crappy end of the stick. He's got stage 4 cancer.
Come on.
His stick has plenty of crap, dude.
The thing is, I think that you need to have a conversation with this man that's not just like, hey, you need to pay rent. You need to pay rent. Like, I need to do something. It's like, hey, we no longer can house you because we are going through our own problems here and our own our own health problems right now. Unfortunately, we've given you a lot of time, but you have to move out. And like, we'll help you find those resources, but you have to go because you're dealing with your own things that require a lot of money and a lot of like wherewithal mentally to be able to process and handle all of that stuff that's going on with cancer. Yeah.
Giving him a quarter of a year to move out. Should be enough time for anybody to figure that out. I was livid that he actually said that to my husband. I reminded him that most landlords only give 30 days notice, so he was lucky. We set his move out date for July 30th, but he's still here.
That's when you like take all of his stuff out.
Police.
Yeah, you get him out of there.
Man, what a terrible situation to be in, though.
So
like,
terrible.
To be put in that spot.
Yeah.
You known this guy for 20 years. He's just abusing your good nature.
Your kindness, yeah.
My mother-in-law has had to change her flight 3 times because we don't have anywhere to put her. The roommate has given us 3 different move-out dates, and each one has come and gone. Now we've told him that he needs to be out by the end of the month, or we're moving mother-in-law into his room. She hates him. He said he would just go live on the streets, but I told him no. He had months of notice and did nothing until last week. Now he's waiting for a background check to go through so he can go to a men's shelter, and the Catholic Church is helping him too. He's pretty much disabled, so I offered a year ago to help him apply for disability. He told me that he had a caseworker helping him apply. That was a lie. He didn't want to apply because it would affect his retirement. Turns out he hasn't worked in 6 years and was living off our other friend the entire time. There's so much more to this, but as of now, I don't see an end in sight. I'm uncomfortable in my own home. My downstairs living room, kitchen, and common areas are a huge mess, and he doesn't even do his own dishes or clean up after himself. I just want this over and him gone. It's caused problems in my marriage and my family. I now never want to help anyone like this again. I've helped a lot of people in my life, and it has always bitten me in the butt. I just need him to go. And there are some comments here. Number 1, he's not your child. Get him out already. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
OP says, I know. You're right. I just didn't want to formally evict him. I didn't want that on his record.
Unfortunately, he didn't give you any choice. You have told him so many times kindly, and you have given so much time. You have to formally evict him at this point if he's not going to leave otherwise.
If he's not going to get out.
Yeah.
A reply to this, how on earth do you expect him to get out without doing an eviction? I reread your post, and he will be living with you until one of you passes away or you start the eviction process. It can take a long time. You're really not doing your family or him any favors by continuing to enable him and not pushing for an eviction as soon as your agreement first started getting broken. You can't help someone who doesn't want to help themselves. All you're doing is burning yourself out for someone who doesn't really care about you. Reply to that, no wonder the last person to help sold their property. Can you imagine? Could that be why
it got
they had
so
to sell the
bad
house? Because they're
that,
like, look, you can't live here anymore. I'm selling the house. All right, you can't live here.
Maybe.
That's
it
crazy.
might have been like he was behaving terribly and they were already going to move out, but
I would hope it was at least that, or we need to start growing spine.
Yeah.
Comment number 2. He doesn't care enough about you to treat you with any decency. You are being far too kind. Let me put this to you in a different way. You are a mom. You have a child who is having to live with this choice. How is it affecting your son? How does he feel? My parents used to collect broken people, and they always took advantage. I had people stealing my stuff, and it eventually got so unsafe I moved out. It took me a long time to go no contact with them. They weren't saints. They were doing it to get access to babies. They love babies. It's crazy. My point is, I still hold a lot of hurt over my parents choosing these users over me. They had a duty to provide me with a safe home, and they weren't doing that. Instead of feeling bad for this freeloader, think of your son. Think of the things he is putting up with. Think of what he will go without because you have to spend it on this man. Is your son missing out because you have to do things for this man? Has he been able to live his life like a normal kid? Or does he not have people over because of the mentally unstable regular user who keeps falling over in his house? You have a kind heart. You want to help, but you can't. You need to protect your family. Comment 3, the best thing that you can do for him is force him to leave leave and face his circumstances. You can't enable him anymore. He will keep doing this as long as you let him do it. He needs to hit rock bottom if he's ever going to get up, even if that's the street. He created this situation. OP says, you are not wrong. It just kills me to think of someone I cared about in the street being someone who was homeless years ago myself. I have to let it go and let what's going to happen happen. I even called his family and they want nothing to do with the situation at all. And here is the update. I think we're all in agreement, right?
Yeah.
Right?
You gotta evict him.
You gotta be like, you're out of here by this date, and if you're not out of there, police are being involved.
Yeah.
Official
It's gonna go on your record.
hits to your record are gonna be involved.
OP was doing something out of the kindness of their heart.
Yeah.
And
you were taken advantage of.
So badly. Yeah, it's crazy. And now you're anxious of being home. And like, I kind of had that with a roommate in college, and I was just like so stressed to be downstairs because it was so dirty, and like even I've told him like clean up. It's just like I wanted him out, but I couldn't get him out. It just felt bad. I had to like live in my upstairs room. That was it.
Yeah, I've had friends who have also been in situations like that with roommates. It's just like you don't know what. Yeah.
Have you ever tried to out annoy a roommate?
I tried to
Out bother a roommate?
I've never had to do that. So
I've tried it, but it's like that's not who I am.
Here's the update. Hello again, all. I figured some of you might be wondering what happened since my last post, which can be found above. Since this post, we gave him a move-out date of early September. My husband talked with him literally daily about his plans to go, as it had now been 5 months since we initially told him he had to move. He told us he had found a wonderful vet's home that would take him in upon approval, as well as give him his own room, 3 meals a day, and counseling. So the day before he's supposed to be out, I text him to ask what exactly the plan shall be for tomorrow. He tells me he's going, but he hasn't slept well the last few days, as he hasn't been able to get a hold of any of them. The morning comes and my husband has to knock on the door to wake him up around noon to ask what the plan was, as the place he's moving is an hour away and I might have to use one of our cars to go to work. He says he doesn't know. My husband starts calling every single veteran resource and asking for help, stating his situation and needing him to go so his mom can come stay with us to help. He asks all the places this friend had claimed to have applied to the status of his application, and they had never heard of him.
Eviction. Unfortunately.
Full blown.
Eviction.
This guy's committing a crime against you, essentially.
Yeah.
My husband loses his crap and has a breakdown to the director of a veterans homeless program. And the guy feels so bad for my husband that he tells him to bring him now and they will take him.
Thank God. Oh my God. You just need to sob in front of someone and say, please.
This guy's ruining our lives. And he does need help. To be clear, this is a guy who needs a lot of help. It's just he's not going to get it from you guys.
He has mental health issues. That's clear.
Husband packs his crap up and throws it all in the car with a friend of ours, and the vet friend gets angry saying he's being rushed out.
Dude, you don't get to say you're being rushed out when it's been like 7 months.
It's been longer. It's been like a year at this point.
Been a year.
So, excuse me, what? If I had been there to hear that, I might have yeeted this man in the car and out of my life even faster. How is giving someone 5 months to move rushing them? So they go to the original home that the vet applied at, which is apparently like the Ritz-Carlton. But he can't go there because there's a 2 to 3 month wait list. So he has to go 10 minutes down the road to the other facility. It's run down. He has to share a room, but he gets 3 meals, free internet, and television. He's not happy. Of course he's not happy. The lady comments, what did he expect? A 4-bedroom house? She goes on to take my husband by the hand and tells him, you don't worry about him anymore. He's a grown man and needs to step up for himself now. We will take care of him. Go home and take care of yourself now.
Sounds like a nice lady.
What a nice lady who's clearly a professional at what she does. And by the way, you can be professional at listening to us if you go listen to full episodes with stories like this on your favorite podcasting platform, be that iHeartRadio or Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Wherever you listen, just search OK Storytime and there you will find the archive. And it is complete. 50 days long at this point. That's 24 hours times 50. Someone do that math. That's a lot of hours. Let's go ahead and finish this story. My husband has a heart of gold, guys. He really didn't want to go until he knew he would at least be okay. He said there are on-site therapy groups and they even take them to weekly checkups through the VA so he will get his diabetes under control.
That's great.
That is great. And us, well, we both can't believe how quiet it is and how free we feel again. We actually talked and laughed together for the first time in a year. He's gone and I have my home back. Thank you to everyone who gave us advice. I read them to my husband and I told him you all gave me the turbo boost in my behind that I needed. Thank you. Comment. Wait, hopefully we do not see another post from you in 6 months saying that your husband is healthy and your mother-in-law won't move out. Haha, you guys are awesome. Okay, so yeah. Also, may your husband be better.
Yes.
And now that you don't have that guy to deal with,
hopefully
I bet you
you're
the
able
health
to focus on that.
Health will be the main focus.
Mm-hmm.
But that is
and
the
also
end of that
it's
story.
so much easier to like get your health better when you are in a better state of mind. That's
if there's
just
peace
like,
around
yeah.
you,
It does.
then
It
it's
does
easier to
tend
bring
help
the
with
peace
healing.
within you.